Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sah viryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vajam Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Satguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. The fourth pada, 22nd Sutra. We have learned that the consciousness is reflected in the pure sattvic form of intellect, chitta. So, because of that reflection, chitta become conscious and it knows everything. Now here the question is, how we know Purusha, the consciousness? In Chitta it is reflected. By Chitta we know that. So how we know the consciousness, the character of consciousness, the experience, how we can gain. If the chitta is separated, then that is prakriti, that is a product of prakriti. Prakriti means it is insentient. It cannot produce consciousness or it cannot be conscious. So now even this knowledge of consciousness, the experience of consciousness is not possible. That is the question. Whatever we gathered, the informations of consciousness, or whatever in another sense also, everything is there in the chitta. So based on that, how we know, because chitta itself is insentient, how we know that? So this is a philosophical problem. Because when we separate chitta from consciousness and we say the consciousness is reflected in chitta, so this problem arises in Sankhya and Yoga philosophy. Now to understand that, Sutra is giving some reasons how we can understand that. And in Vedanta also, we have taken this part. In Shankara Vedanta, you can see in Gita Bhashyam, 18th chapter, 50 and 51 sloka, where the discussion of Jnana Nishtha is there. The establishment in the knowledge, the practice of knowledge. There the opponent asks the same question. Now you say the self is conscience, it is pure consciousness, and with that the Gita says you practice consciousness. It means you practice Jnana Nishtha. How it is possible? The unchangeable consciousness cannot be practiced. Practice means there must be some change according to the practice. So the opponent asked this question. So there, Shankaracharya takes particularly this part of Sankhya philosophy. There he says, Jnana Nishtha is possible, the establishment of Jnana is possible, the practice of Jnana is possible, because the intellect in which we practice knowledge, that is with this pure reflective quality. It has this reflective quality. It's like a crystal. It's like a mirror. It can reflect the light. So we take this special quality of the intellect. Then there he says, once this intellect is purified in this level, in this deeper level, it becomes one with the consciousness. Like the clear crystal, inherent clear crystal, when it reflects the light or reflects the color, it becomes one with that. It is identified with that. Similarly, in this stage of intellect is identified with the consciousness. Although we are unable to practice consciousness or inconsciousness, by this process the Jnana Nishtha is possible. The Bhashya, the commentary there is very beautiful. If you like to read it, you can read it. Because Vedanta took many of the philosophy of Sankhya. Because without Sankhya, Gita, you cannot understand Gita. Because Gita is based on Sankhya philosophy, the system where what we see there. So in another place also similar discussion is there in Brahma Sutra. This concept is clear there. So it means we have to accept this reflection. So this is accepted in Vedanta. And other philosophies also, even in Nyaya also, they say something similar. They also say that knowledge is the combination, the conjunction of self and mind. The knowledge is produced when the self and mind join, the samyoga. So that is their philosophy is little different. But they accept this concept in this level. So here also we have this same problem, that we have to accept that some reflection, some connection, something is there with the intellect. Otherwise, it cannot happen. Now when we see the sequence of reflection, because that is important in these two sutras, the meditation is that. Regarding this also, in Vedanta, in Shankara Bhashya itself, there are in many places it is said, first the intellect is reflected, the subtlest form of manifestation. Reflected, then that reflection, it means the reflection makes the intellect conscious. Now the intellect is identified as conscious being. Then from that intellect, the consciousness is extended to next level of ahankara, then the I-ness. That is also identified with that consciousness. It's a reflection, and reflection is extended one after another. So in that same sequence, the ahankara is identified. Now ahankara, the I-ness become conscious. Then after that, the mind, the thought process, the mind become conscious. So when we say I think, so this thinking is identification, the reflection of the consciousness. I know, I think, I am all this. And from the mind, again it is connected to senses, the sensational feelings. We feel it as consciousness because we feel it is knowledge or experience. And the senses also become conscious. With that, along with that, the body also become conscious. The every cell of body has this consciousness. How this consciousness is reflected consciousness. It's not direct consciousness. So we have one chart, I think the 1/3, first chapter, 3rd sutra. So please take it out. Yes, first chapter, 3rd sutra, the Drik Drishti. Actually, it was second paper of our. Got it? Yes. In that, you can see the definitions, because that is again coming here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth one, Chit. Chit means pure conscience. You remember that there is little difference between consciousness and conscience. This is the purest form that we are going to refer here. And then after that, 1, 2, 3. Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam, what the definition you see? That is reflected consciousness, awareness in an objective sense. This is where we experience consciousness. When we experience consciousness, we say it is Chaitanyam. And there, the experience is not there. It means we are not able to know what is in the mind. That is the experience we call now. Although chit is there always, but the reflection is not there. The absence of reflection, the knowledge is not formed, like in the deep sleep or in the samadhi. So that is the state of pure consciousness. Okay. That conscience is reflected in the intellect, the sattvika form of intellect. That is called reflected consciousness, and that is where we call awareness of any object or whatever thoughts, process or whatever. Okay, now you catch hold on this word. So just what we were explaining this. Now we take the word as awareness. For the time being, we change the word consciousness into awareness, because consciousness again need more explanation. So awareness, when we say, we know what is awareness. Everybody know, no? Okay, everybody knows. So now what is awareness? We have first awareness. What is the first awareness? The awareness of a physical body. Okay. So that is first awareness. So we are aware about physical body and we say, I am. I am, when we say with the physical bodies identified with the consciousness. We are not thinking about all those things. We just identify ourselves with this body. When the awareness started, since we are identifying body with us, when we wake up from deep sleep, immediately we are aware about our body. There is a sequence, but we are aware about our body. Then we say, I woke up. All right? Now, follow this. The awareness of the body, how we are aware about the body. Here, the awareness is consciousness, reflected consciousness. Okay, Chaitanyam. So now we are aware about the body because our senses are active now. Are you getting me? Now you are aware about the body because each of your cells are active. It means the awareness in the cells are connected to brain. So the sense organs are active. Mainly, out of all sense organs, the skin sense is working. So then you feel the awareness. Skin sense means this all other sense organs are the different developments of sense and skin sense only. Sparshan kritva bahirbahya. Because there is an argument we can see in Bhagavad Gita. All the sense organs are called sparshas. It means some philosopher, they believe that only one sense you have, that is sparsha. It is inside and outside. The other sense organs are the development of this sparsha, the touch sense organ. Anyway, now with that we have the feeling, the awareness of body. Now how you are aware about the sense organs? If you are aware about sense organs because your mind is working. Right? So because of mind, your awareness is connected to sense organs and that is there in the body. Now we take the mind and we identify ourselves with the mind, now awareness is there in the mind. Just now I am explaining it. While I am explaining, you have to feel it, where your mind is changing. Yeah. Then you know it is very useful for meditation, because then you know how the reflection is coming up to the body, how we are conscious about the body. So now actually with the mind we are conscious about the body. Now go behind further more. How mind is active? Because of I-ness. Because when we wake up, this is the sequence. We already discussed it in detail in the last chapters. So the I-ness, it means ego, the personality, the memory of I-ness. So because of I-ness, this mind works. So now the awareness is with the mind, with the I-ness. And then how the I-ness is active. So in this sequence, intellect is the cause for that. The first glimpse of awareness is there in intellect, then the I-ness is on. That is the sequence here. So now the awareness is there in intellect. So now we are talking about that awareness. In other words, we are already learned that last traceable awareness, it is called. Last traceable. After that, there is no trace of objects or this feeling of awareness. How it is when we come out of sleep, the first thing what we feel is this awareness. Then you remember about your personality, and then it is active, then the mind is active, then sense organs are active. Everything is happening by sequence. It takes little time, milliseconds. But it is so fast, we are not knowing how it is happening. The process is not known. Now by meditation, doing this practice, you should try to visualize this reflection, how it changes. So try to withdraw from physical body to the awareness level of intellect, sattvic intellect, and bring it back up to the body. So this to and fro, moving, visualizing, will bring you the clarity in meditation. And the awareness of a body will be clear now. So now when we take the intellect has many components, parts. Out of that we take the most subtlest form, that is sattvika. We say sattvika. So according to Sankhya philosophy, intellect is mainly made of Shuddha Sattva, the clear, the finest Sattvika form. So that is why it is reflected, like in the crystal or in the mirror. So that fineness, that smoothness, or whatever we can say, That is important there. That is the quality of intellect, why the consciousness is reflected there. So we were referring about this Gita Bhashyam of Shankaracharya. There he explains it. Actually, very detailed, very nicely he explained it. Even in Sankhya textbooks you won't find such details. So in that level, that the knowledge, that awareness is in subtlest form. There is no mixing. So this intellect, in this level, that this intellect become one with the consciousness, and it become conscious, and whatever ability it has, it can extend to any level. So this intellect is called Samadhi Prajna. We have learned it in first chapter. Purest and clear form of intellect. In this level you can have Ridambara, Tatra Prajna and all those things. Now here in this context, the important point is how this intellect is reflected and this awareness is created. And the awareness of the consciousness itself, how it is created. This is the sutra going to say. Now you can see this chart is regarding this. So we will discuss it again after seeing the word meanings of the sutra. So we chant the sutra. Chidera pradisangramaya pattau swabuddhi samvedanam. Chiter apradisangramaya tatakara pattau swabuddhi samvedanam. Chiti, we know the purest form of consciousness, that we call it conscience. Conscience is the chit. There is no reflection, the chit as it is. There is no manifestation, no changes. It is changeless. So that is, we know what is chit is. We learned from the third sutra itself. After that the word comes apradisankramayaha. This is the adjective of that chit. This chit is apradisankrama, not passing to another. Pradisankrama means passing to another. It never goes out of its nature and pass through. It means that is always there. It is not giving away something. It is not changing. That is apradisankrama. Sankrama means one thing is reflected or connected with another, and that another. So this is called sankrama. This chit is apradisankrama. Asanko hi ayam purushaha. We say in Upanishad says that. So this is taken for granted, that is not changing. It cannot change and it cannot move. It is not passing through anything. Now you have to remember this special quality. In the commentary of Vyasa, the second sutra and third sutra, he gave this definition there itself. So it is apradisankrama. changeless. Now, in this condition, tadakara apattau. So, being changeless, this consigns the purest form of consciousness with its own nature. Tadakara apattau. Through the reflective way of changing. Why we say reflective way, we will explain it. So you know the theory of reflection already. So tada akara apattau, through the reflective way it transforms to the mind and identified with the mind. Now the transformation of chit is not by nature. That is why you already gave the definition of chit. It will not transform itself. But when the object is there as chitta, then seems to be transformed. So tadakara apattau. It becomes one with the object, chitta. Now the chitta is having the same nature, seemingly same nature. It appears that chitta become consciousness. That is what we experience in asamprajñāta samadhi. Without thoughts, without any vrittis, the chitta become one with that. Although chitta is there, but it is not felt separately. So this is the experience there, and same experience we have in deep sleep, but there is deep sleep with tamas, so ajnanam, tamas and everything is there. So it is not very clear in there. Okay, now tadakara apattau means identified with the object. Object here is chitta only, where it is reflected. That is the transformation of chitta. Actually, it is not transformed. Because of reflection, it appears that it is transformed. You got it? So, then this condition, swabuddhi samvedanam. Now you see how he is putting the idea there in with this small form of sutra, a condensed form. Each word is having so much meaning. So now this is happened. They now identified with the consciousness. So then everything is easy. Now swabuddhi samvedanam. The buddhi, the intellect knows. Why he is using the word buddhi here? Because here the knowing process is going to be discussed. This buddhi word is used, not chitta. Because when you say chitta, there is no knowing process. It is a collection of all the vrittis, all the definitions. So here it is added at intellect. The swabuddhi samvedanam. So its own intellect is knowing itself and knowing the character of Purusha also. So by this reflection, buddhi knows both. Now it is obvious that knowing is not there in consciousness, pure consciousness. Knowing starts with the intellect, with this reflection. The swa buddhi samvedanam. Now the swa is connected to consciousness, then the buddhi knows about consciousness. That is why jnana nishtha is possible. With this discrimination, jnana nishtha is possible. That you know, this buddhi, the intellect is not having the consciousness. Intellect is having the consciousness which is reflected in that. And by that, it knows everything. So next sutra will say sarvartham. It knows everything. Everything means the experience in the worldly experiences, material world, and the spiritual experiences, both. So, Swabuddhi Samvedanam, its own intellect. Now, both are connected and the problem is solved. Now, again, if this chit is apradisankrama, not giving away its character, not transforming its character, how can it happen? Because even the reflection, we see some transformation. We have to assume there is some transformation. That is why he gave the real character of Chit first. That is most important. So to understand this, we take the same analogy we were talking about, the light. Now, what we see as light, what we cognize as light, is it real light or reflected light? We see light outside, the sunlight or whatever light in the form. Is it real light as in original form or reflected light? It is reflected light. It is not real light. Real light is not seen. It means here in this world you cannot see real light. You can only see reflected light. Now this reflected light is considered as real light. You believe in that this is real light. Whenever somebody asks what is light, you show this is light. So you are showing the light within light and you are not identifying it. And real light is not known. Only the reflected light is known. And now, if you got this point, we will examine little more. Now, when we say reflected light, what does it mean? Some object is there to reflect, on which the light is reflected. Now, what is the object? The all manifestation in front of us is the object, starting from atmosphere. So the objects are there in some different forms. So to say, the original light is not known. Without that, the reflected light is not possible. And why it is reflected? Because of the objects. Where the presence of objects is there, there the light is reflected. Then you see the light. The comprehension of light is there. And where the objects are not there, in the outer sky, an atmosphere, beyond atmosphere, there the light is not reflected. You cannot see the light there. That is the original form of light. Only the difference is, we have to remember this difference, because all the philosophers on the textbook, they gave this analogy of light for consciousness and this reflection. So it is a bit confusing. When we take the light as analogy for the reflection or consciousness, we have to remember that this light is inert. It is insentient. It has no knowledge. It has nothing to do with the knowledge. Therefore, when we experience Atma, self, although the textbooks say you experience Atma Sahasra Surya Sama, it is like 1,000 suns arise, how much light will be there, so you feel the light. So when we meditate on Atma, we try to see the light. And after meditation, we say, no, I saw the light, it means I experienced the Atma. No. There is no connection with light and Atma. Atma is pure knowledge and its nature. It cannot change. And the light has no knowledge. Light is inert and it is not connected to knowledge. It cannot bring knowledge. That we have to remember. This is the main difference here. So our analogy is connected to this point, that the original form of light is not reflected and not seen. And the reflected light is seen. We experience it. So that is the similarity here. Here also the same thing. Although the Chit is apradisankrama, Chit is not transforming itself, it is changeless, it is always there in its own character. But when the object comes as the Chitta or any reflector, the object of reflective object, then it reflects. No action is taking place there. No change is taking place there. Only the presence of light, the objects are reflected, then you feel the presence of light, the experience, the awareness of light. Similarly here also, the Chittam is reflected, then we say Chaitanyam. The Chaitanyam is reflected consciousness. Now you are conscious about your Chittam as well as your mind, your intellect is ready to grasp the knowledge of the consciousness as well. It got the qualification. Now it is in the proximity, the maximum proximity of the consciousness, the being, the knowledge. So it is reflected. So what we understand from this is, once this pure Chitta, the intellect, is with consciousness, reflected consciousness, everything can happen. Now to understand this, we take little bit connected to physiology also. Before that, we just see the graph to make it more clear. It says the manifestation in sequence of reflected consciousness. Okay? Now, from there, we have two diversions. Now we are talking about individual reflection, the reflected in individual, and there is a sphere of this cosmic reflection also is there. Okay? So then this individual sphere and consciousness, cosmic sphere, both are the same but in two different aspects. Okay? So first one is the first reflection, the conjunction of conscience Chit and the object Chitta. The last traceable, the T is not there. The last traceable. Okay. So now you already understood this point. The first reflection, that is, we call it conjunction, samyoga of chitta and the consciousness. That is, actually there is no samyoga, no conjunction, but conjunction is attributed there because of reflection. The reflection is called conjunction there. So this conjunction of the conscience and the object chitta is traceable. This is traceable where we realize ourselves. The realization is up to this point. The awareness is up to this point. That is why it is traceable. You meditate, you reach here. Once the thoughts are restrained, then you reach here. That is the reflected thing. And in the same level, we were talking about Mahat Tattva. In Vedanta it is Hiranyagarbha, here it is Mahat Tattva, that is cosmic intelligence with energies. This is the same thing. In cosmic level we call it as Mahat Tattva. The last traceable. So we have the chart of the creation. In that you can see the second one. You have this chart. Yes. The heading of the chart is Chart of Creation in Sankhya and Yoga. So in that you can see the Mahat Tattva, we call it Linga Matra, last traceable, the collective state of cosmic intelligence. That is the definition we have given there. So that is in cosmic level. And similarly, the I-ness, Ahankara. So now the cosmic intelligence, through cosmic intelligence, the Ahankara is reflected. Now the identification, because this cosmic intelligence or individual intelligence, it is based on samskaras. Okay, vasana, samskara and that level. It is based on that. So from that, the intelligence and then the I-ness. I-ness is also there. So there the reflection comes. It means now the Ahankara is on. The I feeling, I-ness, the personality feeling is on. That is individual level. Similarly, cosmic I-ness, Ahankara is there in Sankhya. So both these are connected here. Then from that, the mind, then from that senses, and from that, after that, physical body. Now this reflection transforms to physical body. Okay, we have this experience actually. Every day we are experiencing this. When you go to sleep, you withdraw from one after another. From physical body, senses, mind, I-ness, and then you are sleeping in the deep level of samskaras. And in the death, Upanishads say the same thing. How you withdraw from the body, it's also the same. Chandogya Upanishad, if you want to read, you can read. We have no time to take it and explain it. The 6th chapter, third, it's starting from 8th part of that. If you read, there is the description of all this. And in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is very interesting how death is happening. The explanation of death process. That is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That is 4th chapter, 3rd section. Last part of 3rd section and 4th section. This is called Jyotir Brahmana. So there you can see how this takes place. So first the withdrawal from body, then from senses, then it goes back. Now, if you just take the physiology of this, just to understand and analyze, because it will be useful for your meditation. Now, what physiology says is, you are aware about your body because your cells are maintaining some information. In the cells, each cells, some information is created. And the collection of that information is there in the mind, in the brain. Okay, they are not talking about mind. The brain is. So even with that, we can understand this. So now brain means what? Brain means the storage of all intelligence. With their theory, each cell has some intelligence. So the collective form of that intelligence is stored or controlled by brain. We call it intelligence. And now, each cell means each cell is spread over the body. The body is made out of these cells. Tissues and cells, they are made out of them. Now, inside the organs, they are also made out of cells. It means body in a whole, we can say the cells are controlling the functions of the body. Okay? Now these cells are controlled by intellect. The suggestions comes from intellect. The intellect is giving the suggestions. So when you sit for meditation, you try to feel that each cell is having consciousness. Just for the time being we take it. Each cell is aware about its function and it is aware about outside objects also. The sensational cells, they are different. We know they are made out of receptors, proteins. The protein we divide into two, receptor proteins and effector proteins. So out of that, the receptor proteins are working with these sense organs. That is what they say. Now, when you meditate, you feel this awareness with the body and the senses. The sensational feeling is also there. Then this all information is connected to brain. So you feel it that brain is working there. So feel the awareness in the brain. In the brain, when we say, we will not meditate on head, brain. Where to meditate for chitta? We are learned in last chapter. Hridaye chitta samvit. If you want to meditate on chitta, on brain, you don't meditate on head, meditate on hridaya, the middle part of the body. So this is the meditation there. In this way also, if the brain is controlling the sensation of body, it means brain is withdrawing. When it needs, it withdraws. That is why all other problems happens. The sensation is not there. So that happens. Sometimes the brain is off. So you are not aware about the sensations. It happens. So brain is main there. Now by this physiology also, we can understand that intellect is the first controller. From there the it comes to all the elements. What is the problem then? It is very obvious. So that one after another you go, you end at the intellect. They have to accept it. In whatever form intellect is, in whatever way it works, the body, mind and senses are controlled by intellect. We have to accept it. So when we are meditating on that, we are not only meditating on the functions of brain, but also the source of the energy, the source of consciousness, awareness, from where it starts. So the Sankhya says the consciousness is reflected in brain, that's all. Energy is reflected. In their way, we can say brain is getting this energy somewhere. So this way it is getting. And energies are created in the cells. And they supply energy to the brain. Energies and information, both are there in the cells. Each cell is condensed with that. So energies for functioning, for the action, and information is for suggestions. Signals are for the suggestions. So this way, this combined thing. Same thing Sankhya also say. They say once this consciousness is reflected there, it means it is now the intellect is active. It creates energy. It creates knowledge, everything. The all world is, all universal creation is maintained by this. So we already discussed this point, the connection between individual creation and the cosmic creation. So you remember that and connect it. Yes, that is Chandogya Upanishad. 6th chapter, 8th part. We call it Khandas. 8, starting from 8th part. And in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 4th chapter, 3rd part. We call it Brahmanas there. 3rd Brahmana and the last part of 3rd Brahmana and the first part of 4th Brahmana. It means in the 4th chapter. Now Brahmana is Jyotir Brahmana, 3rd part, and 4th part is called Sharira Brahmana. Which is very interesting how they know it step by step. Okay, now this, you understood this sutra clearly. Now you know what the next sutra says. In all this discussion, what we understood is consciousness is completely changeless. It is passive. Consciousness is never in action. Only by its presence, everything is created. The movements takes place. Only in that presence. Like in the presence of light, the plants, trees, they create food and we get energy, and the all universe, the energy is created because of the presence of light. You see? So this way it is interconnected. Otherwise, when you think about light is not doing anything. Only its presence is there. Everything is happening. So it means light there is completely passive, inactive. And the reflected object is active. It is functioning now. What we say as creation, this is the creation.
Only in this example of sunlight, you mentioned, it is constant.
Yes. Yes. So that is there. That is there. That is the production of light. The helium and the hydrogen or whatever, it is happening there. But that is where the light is produced. We are not talking about the production. We are only taking the analogy as the presence. That is because that is, again, that is not consciousness. No? It is not, it is inert. So it has the function there. But other things are happening in the presence of light. And we just 2 days before we discussed about the sky, about the space. So in light also there is energy. There are molecules. So this is what the quantum physics say. So that is there. But as per our understanding, in the presence of light, everything takes place. Science also say that. Light is the source of energy. Okay. So with this point, we proceed to next sutra, but time is completed. So we will see it next section. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om